You have the numbers on Hagman?
No,
Yeah, we'll give it out.
we'll give it out, yeah.
Cliff, with Ron Wilson as the head coach, how much has his influence with his experience in the Western Conference weighed into this with the signings of Hagman and Finger?
Well, very much, obviously, and the last few years I've been totally out in the Western Conference, so we feel very comfortable with the players out there, and we think we've really helped our hockey team. The free agents are 28 years of age, so they can be around when our club becomes far more competitive in the seasons ahead.
What is it about Jeff Finger that certainly?
Well, he's you guys, if you want to ask about Finger, should call Joel Quenville, who coached him last year. But he's a late bloomer, but he really developed into a fine NHL defenseman. At the end of the year, the last third of the season, he was averaging 23, 24 minutes a game for the Avalanche. And he has a little bit of a bite to him. He's sound defensively, and last year he picked his game up offensively. He's going to be a very good addition.
Were you a bit of a bidding war for services? Is that why you gave him the contract you did?
Well, hey, every contract. Have you seen some of them? I mean, it looks like we got bargain basement deals compared to some of the deals out there. Finger was a very reasonable signing.
Was Curtis Joseph kind of a no-brainer?
Yeah, Curtis is, because as we all know, I mean, Curtis will bring great character to the locker room. We're going to have a lot of young players in there next year, and his leadership will be invaluable. And we saw last year when he went back to Calgary that he's still a quality goaltender. And, with Vesatoskala probably playing over 60 games next year in the regular season, Curtis is just a perfect fit. And he can work with our young goaltenders in our organization at the same time. And I'm elated to have him. I mean, he's a quality person and a real fine goaltender.
I think a lot of hockey fans initially went Finger.
Well, yes, and you know what? Unfortunately, in Toronto here, the Western Conference is in a different universe. But believe me, he's a real good hockey player, and he was sought after by many, many teams.
Were you stunned by some of the money being thrown around today, Cliff?
Well, I was worried about it or concerned about it in advance, and it's sure happening.
You mused about perhaps playing Nick at center, based on the fact that the two forwards you signed today were wingers. Maybe Mass doesn't come back. Is that starting to look like more of a possibility, or is this the other forward that you might get?
Well,
going to be a center?
Well, we'll have to see when training camp starts, and that's a coaching decision. Ron will tinker in camp, I'm sure, and probably try him at both wing and center. And we'll see what the final roster is prior to the start of camp. It's not complete yet, that's for sure.
How many more additions do you see to here in camp?
Well, we're definitely going to sign another defenseman in the next day or so. And after that, we're going to start to be pretty selective in what we do. And we'll be open to anything that'll improve our hockey club.
Does this mean there's no chance for Mats at all?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Mats that.
What is your reaction, I guess, to some of the reported offers, I guess, for Mats that are currently out there? Is that surprising at all to see $10 million a year?
Well, it's a lot of money.
But when you get to the $10 million a year category, does that essentially keep the Leafs out of the bidding?
Oh, no, we're not in that category at all. We're not in that category at all. Mats knows where we are, and hey, look, it's his decision. He's been a great, great Leaf. I hope he comes back to us, but I'd fully understand if he didn't.
Tell us again a little bit about Hagman. What do you like about him?
Well, I like his speed, his tenacity, and he's just a quality hockey player who played with a good team, and he's going to bring a winning attitude, and he's just going to enhance our lineup.
See a guy that, and Finger as well, players that know the lay of the land in Toronto. Know it may be difficult the first year or so, but as you said, could grow with this team and have it pay off down the road?
Well, we're very happy with, in the case of Niklas, that Vesa Toskla, he's part of the Chamber of Commerce here in Toronto, because he sure told him how much he liked the city and the people and the team, and that went an awful long way in Niklas deciding to come to Toronto.
Who are you more upset with in the McCabe situation, Cliff? Is him or his agent?
I'm not upset with anybody. I mean, it's business, and Brian's a good person, and Ian Pulver's a good person, and we'll resolve it down the road some way, somehow, I'm sure. All right, guys.
So what's your first reactions to the signings of guys like Jeff Finger, Niklas Hagman to the hockey team?
Oh, I think they add some character and depth that's been missing. Guys a coach can count on night in and night out. I don't think you guys know Jeff Finger very well. Hagman might be a different story, but faced Finger last year. He might have been defenseman in the Western Conference who improved the most from the beginning of the season to the end. In a couple of games that we played against him, this is from my perspective, with Joe Thornton, he was the defenseman who had to go out and play heads up with Joe, and he did a really good job. I talked with Joel Quenneville to kind of get the feel for him a little bit today, and Joel swore by him and thought he would be a great pickup for us. And I think we need some stiffness with the people that we have on the blue line right now. And like I said, with the upside and the way Jeff has improved over the last year, we see nothing but good things from him. He's not going to be a point producer or a goal scorer, but kill penalties, play tough and mean in front of the net, and a perfect complement to go with an offensive-minded defenseman, whether it be a Kubina or Cabriolet or anybody like that.
When you saw Curtis in the postseason, I guess up close, and still a lot of gas in the tank in your mind?
Well, Curtis is coming in to be the backup to Vesa, and he's a quality person more than anything right now. Wants to finish his career in Toronto, and I think it's a perfect fit for us. Somebody who can play 10 to 15 games, provided Vesa stays healthy. Obviously, we want Justin Pogge to develop in the minors and not ever have to worry about coming up until he's ready, and I think Cujo's going to be able to support Tosk, and he understands his role, and he'll want to help the team.
Where do you envision Hagman playing on your team this year?
Well, we're trying to put together an energy or a grind line type thing. That's why we got Jamal Myers at the draft, and I think Hagman can fit in there. And you look at him over the last 2 years playing in a really tough conference. He scored 17 goals. Last year he scored 26 goals playing with Dallas. He didn't play a lot on the power play. He doesn't shy away from traffic or anything like that. And again, both guys we signed today, well, all three, if you include Cujo, played in the playoffs last year, played on winning teams and want to be a part of something special here in Toronto. I think that's really important for us.
Have you started tinkering in your own mind with what lines might look like the first day of training camp? Who might be the number one center if Matz is not back, that sort of thing?
Well, you go through that exercise, but a lot of times that's a waste of time until you actually know what your lineup is. So, yeah, we've gone through. We've thought about using Antropov in the middle, which was his natural position when he was drafted. So I'm open to anything, and I'm sure we've got lots of things that we can do with our lineup going forward, whether it be more free agents or trades later on when the dust settles and teams have to decide what they're doing with some people. So I'm sure Cliff and the staff will address that.
Are you stunned at all, Ron, at some of the money that was thrown around today?
There was a few of us ex-players are wishing we were players again. Holy cow. But, there seems to be a limited supply, so it might drive the prices up. It's almost like the oil bubble, The price of oil is going up, and the price of hockey players are going up right along with oil. But, no, every team wants to get involved and try to make their team better. We think we've made our team better today.